Namaste, everybody, and welcome for How to Improve Our Planetary Karma with Krittika Nakshatra, the Star of Fire. This is a collaboration of Ksanati Jyotish and Saptarishis Astrology. I am very excited for our presentation today, and I want to thank everyone for joining us. Thank you so much. It's so nice to have you here. My name is Ksanati. My website here, email, social media, YouTube channel where this video will be posted later. And I am free to be contacted for any questions. I do consultations, I do teachings of various aspects of Jyotish. So this is my contact information for anyone who would like to get a hold of me, stay in contact at future summits. Today we will be doing many different aspects of Krittika Nakshatra. The primary aspects we will start with is going to be Krittika history. Then we will discuss Krittika karma. Then we will discuss the current transit of Krittika, how every planet acts within Krittika. Then we will focus how to improve our relationship, the remedy of Krittika. And then we will look at my guru's chart through Krittika and discuss if there are any questions as well. I would like to start with everyone with the Surya mantra. Krittika Nakshatra is ruled by many manifestations of Surya, many manifestations of Agni, many manifestations of solar energy. And so we will do chant today to the sun. I will thank all of you to chant along with me. Jabakasuma sankasam kashapaya mahadutim tamorim sarvapapanganam pranatusmi davakaram. Jabakasuma sankasham kashapaya mahadutim tamorim sarvapapanganam pranatusmi davakaram. Om Jabakasuma shankasam kasapaya mahadutim tamorim sarvapapanganam pranatusmi davakaram. Om Jabakasuma shankasam kasapaya mahadutim tamarim sarvapapanganam pranatusmi tapakaram. Om Hram Hrim Hram Saha Suryaya Namaha. 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 Om Hrim Hrim Suryaya Namaha. Om Namah Shivaya. Om Hrim Hrim Suryaya Namaha. Now the sun is with us today, everybody. And that is blessing. Thank you all. When we discuss the history of Krittika Nakshatra, first, we discuss the ruling devas and origins of Krittika Nakshatra because they are deeply interconnected with the karma. When we look at the history of each nakshatra, the Purana, the Vedic scriptures of each mythology and history as it relates to nakshatra are deeply integrated in understanding the karma. Krittika Nakshatra is co-ruled by the Deva of Fire, Lord Agni, and the Deva of Warfare and Triumph, the general of the divine army, Lord KRTTIKA, son of Shiva. The history and birth of Lord KRTTIKA is deeply interconnected with the formation and materialization of Krittika Nakshatra. In ancient Indian history, The scriptures discuss a specific time where the Asuryas were led by the demon Kṛttikā, and he was causing much destruction across the world and making it difficult for all the animals, humans, and devas. None of the devas were able to defeat him, and certainly none of the humans. So it was known that Kṛttikā's power would be limitless and incredible, and the destruction would go on until the son of Lord Shiva would kill Kṛttikā. So there is this ancient prophecy that there would be this great warrior, son of Shiva, who would destroy this great demon that nobody else could destroy. Lord Shiva, however, was devoted to his sadhana and meditation and could not be disturbed to make love to his wife Parvati. In order to defeat Kṛttikā and the Asurya army, the seed of Mahadeva was actually acquired through Lord Agni through provocation. So Lord Agni was the one who stimulated Shiva through the power of Sri Agni to spread his seed, because it was not his wife, because he couldn't be disturbed from his spiritual practices in order to procreate. Agni's heat, the intense fire of Agni, it's disturbed Shiva's meditation. And when Lord Shiva asked, what has caused this great disturbance, all of the devas there informed them of Kṛttikā's destruction and the need for Shiva to have a son. So Agni disturbed Shiva's meditation, and then everyone informed Shiva of the destruction of this great demon. Lord Shiva agreed to assist and dropped his Shukra, his Ojas, upon the earth, which was picked up by Lord Agni in the form of a bird, in the form of a dove. The power of Shiva's Shukra was bursting with fiery pitta quality and was too powerful to be held in any human or physical container. The Shukra of Lord Shiva is too strong to be contained. That is why Shiva's seed could only be held by Deva Agni, could only be held by Sri Agni. The devas which worshipped and honored Lord Agni received Lord Shiva's Shukra, but they could not contain it. It was too strong for them. They become very sick. They become very overwhelmed. And they say, Lord Shiva, we cannot handle your seed. Although we worship Lord Agni, we cannot handle your seed. So they vomited back up to Lord Agni. So even those that worship Lord Agni could not also contain the seed. Only Agni, the Deva itself. Parvati, the divine wife of Lord Shiva, was very angry with Lord Agni and the Devas that her womb could not bear the seed of Lord Shiva. Parvati was Shiva's wife, so of course she wanted to have children with her husband. Why was her husband's seed elsewhere? She was so consumed with anger that with her divine power, she cursed all of the wives of the Devas to be unfertile and unable to bear children, because Parvati is powerful goddess. And she cursed all of the wives in the heavens that they should not have children, because she cannot have children. Bhumi Deva, the goddess of the earth, also her very own powerful goddess, responded to Parvati's curse with the curse of her own, that Parvati would remain sterile and never experience the physical birth of any child. That means Kṛttikā, Ganesha, Parvati is not the physical mother. These children did not manifest through her womb. This exchange of curses is the exact reason why the consorts of the Devas could no longer give physical birth, and why Sri Parvati would never experience the physical birth of any kind. We can think metaphysically, we can think philosophically, why do the gods not walk amongst us anymore? This is one of the reasons in the ancient Hindu tradition. It is because this exchange of curses between Parvati and Bhumi Deva, that these devas would no longer give birth. This is the great curse of Ma Parvati. They would not give physical birth. So this history suggests that Lord Agni sought to deposit the seed of Lord Shiva in the 7 virgin wives of the Saptarishis, the 7 rishis known as the Kṛtikas, or star sisters. So the greatest rishis, the greatest gurus upon the earth, had 7 virgin wives. And this was who Lord Agni sought fit to carry the seed of Lord Shiva. But notice that one person cannot bear the seed of Shiva. It had to be shared amongst all of these sisters. 6 of the 7 Kṛtika sisters were allured by Lord Agni. Lord Agni provocated them and became pregnant with Shiva's seed. And shortly thereafter, an embryo began to form on top Mount Himavata. So the seed got transferred onto the Kṛtika sisters, and then all of a sudden, an embryo, a fetus, start to form on top of this Mount Himavata. Quickly, the fetus developed into a small baby, which was named Kṛttikā. Karti then grew quickly into a child, a young man, and a warrior in no time at all. In other words, normally it takes us, we age, 1 year is 365-ish days. But for Lord Kṛttikā, he became an adult, a young man, a young warrior in a very, very short period of time. After his birth, Ma Parvati adopted her rightful son, Kṛttikā, and together the 6 virgin wives and Parvati nourished and cared for their communal son. So Parvati was also their mother, but through adoption. Spiritually speaking, like the godmother. Parvati is the godmother of Kṛttikā. And so on the 7th day after his birth, Kṛttikā fulfilled his dharma to defeat this great demon Taraka, and was invoked to be forever known as Skanda, the chief of the divine army and the deva of warfare. So 7 days after Lord Kṛttikā was born, he destroys this demon. All of a sudden, the prophecy is fulfilled. This is how he gets his great title of Skanda, the deva of the divine army. The 7 star wives, known as the Kṛtikas, are materialized through Krittika Nakshatra. Kṛtika, star sisters, and this is also the Krittika Nakshatra. It is associated with the Pleiades star group. Now, Lord Agni is also deeply interconnected with the karmic effect of influence of Krittika Nakshatra. Lord Agni is a big role in the story of Lord Kṛttikā and the birth of Lord Kṛttikā. But there are many different stories and histories of Lord Agni. The ancient Matrayani and Kataka Samhita suggest that before creation, all that existed was complete darkness and emptiness. That means there's no existence. There was no separation between day and night, no planets, no sun, no moon, no earth, no physical life at all. Everything is complete darkness. This is before the great creation. In the science, they call this before the Big Bang. Then Sri Agni manifested out of the skull of Deva Prajapati, the divine creator, and the universe began to materialize. So Lord Agni came out of the consciousness of Prajapati, and this is how we know the Big Bang to exist. The Big Bang as we know it is Lord Agni manifesting out of Prajapati, Brahma, the divine creation. Now, Krittika Nakshatra is co-ruled by Sri Shaurya, Lord Kṛttikā, and Lord Agni. And these stories of Kṛttikā and Agni are deeply connected to the karma. Lord Kṛttikā, son of Shiva, was prophesied long before his arrival. This is important. Long before Kṛttikā took his form, demon Taraka said, I will be the only one that will be destroyed by the great son of Shiva, which had not existed yet. So this is the fulfillment of a prophecy. Even the great demon Taraka requested a boon from the Devas that one day he would be destroyed by the great son of Shiva, who had yet to manifest yet. The story and the prophecy of Kṛttikā is deeply manifested in Kṛtika. Those natives with strong Kṛtika karma are prophesized or aspire for greatness. It is always a large pair of shoes to fill with Krittika Nakshatra. Often there is ancestral karma strongly linked with Krittika natives in which they must meet or fulfill a certain ancestral dream, prophecy, or aspiration. Just like Lord Kṛttikā was prophesied before his birth, if you have Krittika Nakshatra, you have great role to fill. You have great karma to fulfill. So this is very important to understand, that there is a great fulfillment of prophecy, which can sometimes be our family's dreams for us, or our family's aspirations for us, our ancestral karma. Long before the birth of Lord Kṛttikā, the great Asura Taraka was full of limitless ego and power of destruction. Taraka was so strong that he defeated all the devas, including Sri Indra. Okay, it is said that Taraka had the ability to defeat Indra, and that completely conquered Svarga, the celestial realm. This is how powerful Taraka was. Do not forget of Taraka's power when we understand Kṛttika karma. The powerful Asura Taraka can be understood as Lord Kṛttikā's rival. It was divine destiny for Taraka and Lord Kṛttikā to meet in battle. This opposing force of Taraka is often a symbolic mirror for Krittika Nakshatra natives, as power manifests in both forms of light and darkness. So for Krittika Nakshatra, the karma, the question is, are you demon Taraka or are you Lord Kṛttikā? This is both the manifestation of the positive side of Kṛttikā, but the challenging side of Taraka. On the Sattvic side of Krittika Nakshatra karma, you have this divine Lord Kṛttikā. This is an influence of great power, leadership, fulfillment of dreams and desires which are used for the good of the universe. Often the most evolved Krittika natives are these type of leaders and pioneers whose motivations are selfless, humanitarian, and altruistic. So the most evolved manifestation of Krittika karma, it include power, it include leader, it include all of you to fulfill all of your dreams and desires. But those are all good desires. Those are all sattvic desires for humanity, for society, for the world and everyone in it to be a better place. On the overly rajasic side of Krittika Nakshatra karma, you can be more tempted by this great Asura Taraka. Taraka, although immeasurable in power, was consumed by pride, ego, and self-centered motivations. The great Taraka's request to only be destroyed by the son of Shiva was made in great arrogance, was made in great audacity. Often Krittika natives must work through the demon of the ego, Taraka, which contains self-centered motivations and desires. Within the full evolution of Krittika Nakshatra, they embody the forces of Lord Agni and Lord Kṛttikā, those devas which do anything for the cause of the greater good, those devas which do anything for the divine cause, for the cause of the spiritual liberation, for the cause of the spiritual evolution, for the cause of peace, for the cause of divine truth, Sat. Now, Sri Kṛttikā had 6 virgin birth mothers, 6 of the Krittika star wives of the Saptarishis. Okay, the history even discussed that during the birth and nursing, because Kṛttikā had 6 birth mothers, he was also born with 6 heads. So many manifestations of Lord Kṛttikā are manifested with 6 different heads. These are different heads for nurse off the different mothers. Krittika Nakshatra karma has many-fold expression, such as the many heads of Lord Kṛttikā. These 6 heads of Kṛttikā are representative of many layers of the aim of life, Kama. Krittika is Kama Nakshatra. This is the fulfillment of desire. But 6 different heads, 6 different manifestations of Kama, 6 different manifestations of desire. This is diverse and manifold. Each of the 6 heads of Sri Murugan is symbolic of the various types of desire which are being fulfilled through Krittika Nakshatra karma. The sun, Surya, is the ruling planet of Kṛtika as well, suggesting that when it comes to the total fulfillment of all of our soul's dreams and desires, sky's the limit. There is limitless potential. There is all this potential to fulfill all of our dreams with Kṛtika, all of this potential to fulfill all of our desires with Kṛtika. And this is seen as an important part of the evolution, Dhammartakama Mokshanam, Abrogimula Mutamam. These four aims of life are essential for the full manifestation of our spiritual karma, full manifestation of our spiritual evolution. A good example of this strong sense of diverse karma that can manifest with Krittika Nakshatra natives can be strong desires and potential to want to fulfill or dream to fulfill any of these: marriage, children, power, prestige, reputation, change, progression, fame, recognition. These are all different aspects of desires, which with Lord Kartikeya and this influence of Kṛtika, there can be the desire to fulfill these desires. And in the most dangerous cases, we talked about the demon Taraka, dominance and destruction. It can also be a desire, what shows up here. The divine lord of fire, Sri Agni, is representative of Krittika Nakshatra purification karma. Kṛtika is connected to the spiritual power of Dadana Shakti, a divine gift from Lord Agni. This Shakti is associated with the karma of the ability to remove, shred, dice, cut, slice, and pierce all impurities, falseness, illusion, and ignorance. The sun is the dispeller of ignorance. Lord Agni is the dispeller of ignorance. Kṛtika Nakshatra has the fire, which cooks out all of the impurities. This comes from Lord Agni. It is the essential karmic nature of Kṛtika Nakshatra to cut, shred, and slice their way to Sat, ultimate truth. This is the greatest manifestation of kama, or desire which exists. What is the greatest manifestation of kama? For what desire is more valuable to be fulfilled than the desire to know Sat, than the desire to know truth? This means those natives with Kṛtika Nakshatra karma are not evolutionarily only to remove all maya, illusion, and ignorance from their lives, but are also very influenced to having this sharp, honest, and purifying quality as an element of their personality, as an element of their dharma. People with strong Kṛtika karma, they are to remove the falseness. They are to remove the illusion from their life and the life of others. This is why they can be very sharp and honest, and at times serious. So that was a little bit about Kṛtika karma. I hope everyone is enjoying. I want to talk about a little bit Kṛtika's current transit. Now, Chandra, the moon, entered Kṛtika Nakshatra on today, Wednesday, January 16th, at about 4 in the morning, Eastern Standard United States time. That was about 2:30 p.m. in the afternoon. So if you're joining us from India, that was about 2:30 p.m. in the afternoon. Chandra will transit out of Kṛtika Nakshatra into Rohini Nakshatra on Thursday, January 17th at 4 in the morning. Now, as you can see, the moon is a rapidly moving planet and therefore transits each nakshatra pretty quickly. It takes about 1 day, 24 hours for the moon to transit a nakshatra. So that is why I picked today for us to do this Kṛtika webinar, because our moon is in Kṛtika. Sri Chandra Soma in Kṛtika today. Mars transits Kṛtika Nakshatra March 17 to April 6. Sun transits Kṛtika Nakshatra May 11th to May 25th. Mercury transits Kṛtika May 17 to 23. And Venus transits Kṛtika June 1st to June 12th. And you will see how all these different planets will act in Kṛtika Nakshatra. And if you at home have one of your planets in Kṛtika Nakshatra, both the strengths and challenges that might show up for you. But before we do that, I would like to take a short 5-minute break for all of you who are attending with us live. Before we get into each of the planetary positions for Krittika Nakshatra, we discuss the history of Krittika, we discuss the karma of Krittika, some of its transit, and then after the break, we will discuss each planet in Krittika Nakshatra. So I hope everyone is enjoying the webinar. I hope everyone is enjoying our Krittika lesson today. And I am very much looking forward to going over these planetary positions in Krittika with you. We will take about, it is currently, we'll take about a 5 to 10 minute break. So we will resume in about 5 to 10 minutes. Om Namah Shivaya. Thank you all. Namaste, everyone. Welcome back. It's good to be back, and I hope everyone is enjoying our presentation on Krittika Nakshatra today. Is everyone hear my audio, see video, and see presentation clearly? Someone let me know in the chat. Excellent, excellent. Namaste, blessings, and welcome back, everybody. Now we will look at Krittika planetary relationship, how each planet will act in Krittika Nakshatra. First, we will look at Sun in Krittika Nakshatra. Different famous people of Sun in Krittika are John Paul II, Yukteswar, Kriyananda, Muktananda, and then some celebrities, Janet Jackson, Jim Jones, and Cher. These are all different famous natives of Sun in Krittika Nakshatra. Now, Sun is exalted on the Aries side in Krittika Nakshatra. This is an extremely favorable alignment for Krittika, particularly concerning the fulfillment of the aim of life, Kama. It supports the native to reach great heights of power, reputation, success, and fulfillment. Sun on the Taurus side in Krittika Nakshatra is profound as well and lends to more creative vibrations. Sun is also considered one of the most favorable positions for Krittika, as Shri Agni is the deva which rules over the sun. One might even say that Surya, the sun, is a physical materialization, manifestation, or incarnation of Shri Agni. How far are Sun and Agni from each other? That is a great philosophical question. The shadow side of Sun in Krittika can manifest in terms of heavy identification with desire and ego. We see this come up with Krittika often. They have a vulnerability to be very self-righteous, critical, and conceited. A completely unevolved Krittika Sun native might find themselves extremely important and treat others with inferiority. Sun and Krittika natives have to keep their ego in check and uplift their desires to selfless humanitarian inclinations. Now, I want to remind everyone, when I say Sun in Krittika, that doesn't mean that these negative qualities apply to you if you have Sun in Krittika. It also doesn't mean that the positive qualities manifest for you. But we talk about Lord Kṛttikāya or Taraka. So with each planet, we have evolved manifestation of this energy and less evolved manifestation of that energy. So we're talking about the duality of each position here. Now, Moon can have a mixed karmic effect in Krittika Nakshatra depending on which Rashi it sits within. Moon does extremely well on Taurus side of Krittika Nakshatra, but loses some dignity on the Aries side. Now, famous Moon Krittika Nakshatra natives is my guru, Amritananda Mahima Amaji, Bob Dylan, Bill Clinton, Peter Sellers, one of my favorite actors, one of my favorite old actors, Jimmy Hoffa, Mick Jagger, Frida Kahlo, the amazing artist, Gregory Peck, the former president, Ronald Reagan. So these are just examples of some different Moon and Krittika natives. On the positive manifestation, Moon and Krittika supports incredible magnetism, leadership, inspiration, and devotion. Soma does operate very well depending on what side of the zodiac Kṛtika aligns. When aligned to the Aries side, positive qualities include power, fame, reputation, career success, determination, and lots of leadership. When Kṛtika falls on Taurus side, it supports more creative expression, emotional magnetism, and the power to reach the hearts of all. Moon and Kṛtika natives have this power to touch the hearts of many. Difficulties that arise from Moon and Kṛtika can include ego inflation, arrogance, superiority complex, emotional hypersensitivity, and vulnerability to depression/mania, mental health challenges. The challenge on the Aries side of Kṛtika shows up as an intense desire for power, control, and dominance. On the Taurus side, there is emotional hypersensitivity and even a strong desire to influence the mind of others. So sometimes with this position, we can have a strong desire to influence, and this is good because we have the power to influence. But we still must make sure that we're influencing positively. When we look at Ketu having a mixed karmic effect in Kṛtika, Ketu is great enemies with Kṛtika's ruler, Surya. But Ketu has some unique positive effects on both the Aries and Taurus side of Kṛtika. You know, with Ketu and Rahu, we're always looking at powerful, unique effects. Some say that Ketu and Rahu don't even have planetary dignity. So we can't look at it in the same way that we look at regular planetary relationship. On the positive manifestation, Ketu in Kṛtika supports the native to be a great leader in a multitude of potential ways. Manifestation of Ketu in Kṛtika can allow the native to achieve the highest heights and positions in occult practices and ancient sciences, as well as military, royal, and political hierarchies. Ketu and Kṛtika natives can have a higher calling, which puts them in a position of power and leadership. Ketu, associated with ancestral karma, suggests Ketu and Kṛtika can have powerful and intense ancestral lineages, because we talked already of Kṛtika being ancestral. So Ketu and Kṛtika, a lot of ancestral karma these individuals carry with them. Challenges that result with Ketu and Kṛtika include the potential for strong destructive quality. This shows up wherever Ketu is. The destructive quality of Ketu in Kṛtika can manifest outwardly in terms of the native experiencing success or prosperity, but the expense of someone or something else. So the native might be being successful, but by what means? This destructive quality can also manifest inwardly as potential to be self-destructive and therefore inhibit one's own success, such as the saying, "I am my own worst enemy." Sometimes Kṛtika in Ketu natives, they can be destructive in their own lifestyle. They have to be careful of this. Now, Rahu can have a mixed karmic effect in Krittika Nakshatra. This is due to Rahu's enemy relationship with Sun and also Rahu's challenging relationship with Mars. Rahu positioned on the Taurus side of Krittika Nakshatra is quite favorable a position and is even considered one of Rahu's exaltation positions. On the positive manifestation, Rahu in Kṛtika supports the native to develop a very strong identity and character. Often Rahu and Kṛtika natives possess incredible personality, richness, and this charming eccentricity. I love that. They're this great character. They have this wonderful, charming quality about them. On the Aries side of Rahu and Kṛtika, these natives are incredibly energetic, excited, and enthusiastic. They have the strength to always follow their curiosity towards knowledge. On the Rahu side of Kṛtika Nakshatra, you find individuals who have the potential for extreme material prosperity. These natives can become celebrities, experience the most extreme riches, and establish themselves in the arts. Now, challenging with Rahu and Kṛtika may include an overwhelming and intense craving for fame, recognition, and power. The temptation of Taraka. These Rahu and Krittika natives are more vulnerable to falling into an identity crisis and relating false, corrupt, or adharmic aspects to themselves or their lifestyle. That means parts of who they think they are, they might not, as they spiritually evolve, think about themselves the same way. On the Aries side of Rahu and Krittika, there is a susceptibility to aggressiveness as well as a domineering quality. When Krittika falls on the Taurus side with Rahu, it shows a strong vulnerability to the desire of the physical body and the senses. Rahu and Krittika Nakshatra are vulnerable to addiction, dependency, excessiveness, and overall pleasure indulging. That's why sobriety, when Rahu and Krittika, is often encouraged. As we move to Mars in Krittika Nakshatra, it can have a mixed but sometimes positive effect because Mars does well on the Aries side of Krittika Nakshatra, but is more challenged on the Taurus side. So some of these planets, depending on which pada, depending on what side of the zodiac they are on, it affects the energy very differently. Because is it influenced by Mars or is it influenced by Venus? On the positive manifestation, Mars in Krittika supports the native to be full of energy, ambition, motivation, courage, and determination. Mars in Krittika is an excellent position for the native to be able to handle a heavy or large workload. They can be deemed workhorses in this sense, to give large amounts of time and energy to a certain cause or desire. On the Aries side of Mars in Krittika, there is usually achievement within the native's field and great recognition along their journey. Mars and Krittika natives will certainly leave their mark on the world. And this is something we see with Krittika Nakshatra in general, is they will leave a mark on this world. On the Taurus side of Mars and Krittika, there is a large potential for creative abilities and influence. Mars in Krittika Nakshatra is in especially good position for military leaders and officials. Very good position. Difficulties that can arise from Mars in Krittika can include aggressiveness or a fiery personality. This is very Pitta. Mars in Krittika can influence the native to have very high expectations or ambitions, which may or may not be realistic in their nature. This conjunction of Mars and Krittika is highly instinctual and can act upon its inclination without much consideration. On the Aries side of Krittika Nakshatra, there is a vulnerability to violence, frustration, perfectionism, and a strong desire to control or dominate others. On the Taurus side of Mars and Krittika, various manifestations of excess material and sexual desire can occur. With Taurus and Krittika, there's also vulnerability to an extreme paradigm in relationships, such as hot, cold, love, hate. It can be Mars and Krittika on Taurus side, can be challenging for that. Now, Jupiter can have a mixed karmic effect in Krittika Nakshatra. There is a favorable influence due to Jupiter's favorable relationship with Surya. Jupiter does well on the Aries side of Krittika Nakshatra, but can be slightly more challenged on the Taurus side. On the positive manifestation, Jupiter in Krittika supports spiritual leadership and strong principles in moral and ethical character. Those natives believe very passionately in their sentiments and perceptions on reality, philosophy, and spirituality. These natives tend to be very generous and humanitarian and can express their feelings or perception through gifts and offerings towards others. On the Aries side of Jupiter in Krittika, the native has a bold combination of profound energy and a spiritual philosophical curiosity. On Aries side, this is also a good position for military, political, and government officials. On the Taurus side of Krittika Nakshatra, it is a good position for material prosperity and success. On Taurus side, the native can really develop themselves creatively and express their wisdom, their spiritual wisdom in a unique way. Now, challenges that come from Jupiter and Kṛttikā can be a very self-righteous, opinionated, and stubborn attitude. This Jupiter and Kṛttikā natives are vulnerable to pushing their opinions and beliefs onto others. The position of Jupiter in Kṛttikā can also lend tendency toward developing certain dependencies or attachments in the material world. On the Aries side of Kṛttikā and Jupiter, the person is influenced to become radical or extreme towards their belief system or cause. And if that's work, they could be workaholic. On the Taurus side of Jupiter and Kṛttikā, the native can be pleasure-seeking and potentially a bit indulgent. Now again, these positive equalities don't apply when we all of these positive equalities don't apply when we have this position, and all of these negative qualities don't apply to us either. I'm just reminding us all that it doesn't mean that these negative qualities apply to you, but we're looking at the duality, the spectrum of these positions, which has its evolutionary energy. What is the evolution of that position? Now, Venus can have mixed effect in Krittika Nakshatra. Venus does not always have the most comfortable relationship with Sun. Additionally, on the Aries side of Krittika Nakshatra, Venus can cause many challenges. However, the Taurus side of Krittika Nakshatra is a favorable position for Shukra. On the positive manifestation in Kṛttikā makes the individual very potent and virile, Venus in Kṛttikā. Generally, Venus and Kṛttikā natives have great enthusiasm for romance and sexuality. This conjunction is very good for creativity and gifts in the art, music, and entertainment. Natives with Venus and Kṛttikā Nakshatra will often achieve great success in this material world and often have financial prosperity. On the Aries side of Venus and Kṛttikā, the person is often attractive, magnetic, and can gain power and reputation. When Venus is in Kṛttikā on Taurus side, there is an incredible potential to reach high positions and status in this world. The influence is strong for celebrity or star status, or the ability to accumulate great material, social, and financial success. So Venus on Taurus side is very powerful here for material, social, and financial success. Now, difficulties that can arise from Venus in Kṛttikā can be an overly sensual or materialistic vibration. Venus and Kṛttikā natives are vulnerable to be seduced into overindulgence into the various sorts of pleasures in life. Venus and Kṛttikā natives can be very desirous to fulfill their wants and needs. On the Aries side of this conjunction, aggressive or abusive behavior can explode without maintenance of the individual anger or frustration. On the Venus and Kṛttikā Nakshatra side, there is a severe vulnerability to get lost in hedonism or the pleasures of life. They can overemphasize the pleasure aspect of life and might seek romantic drama to secure their interest. Those with Venus and Kṛttikā are vulnerable to overemphasize financial, material, romantic aspect of life. Now, Mercury can have a mixed karmic effect in Kṛttikā. Mercury can often have a beneficial relationship with Sun, but it can also become hot and combust. On Aries side, there can be some potential challenges, and it acts more gracefully on the Taurus side. On the positive manifestation, Mercury in Kṛttikā encourages brilliance and powerful expression. These natives are often gifted writers, speakers, and teachers. Mercury and Kṛttikā natives often have this profound gift to influence others with their speaking or with their writing. Mercury in Kṛttikā Nakshatra often reaches great heights of success in their field of study or expertise. On the Aries side of Mercury in Kṛttikā, the native is gifted to have a deep impact on others with their expressions and leave almost a tangible expression and impression on whoever they are communicating with. If someone has Mercury on Aries side of Kṛttikā, when they speak to you, they leave their mark on your feeling. Now, on the Taurus side of Mercury in Kṛttikā, they are often very graceful and poetic and creative in their expression and do well in various fields of arts and art education. Now, problems which arise from Mercury in Kṛttikā include a potentially brash, arrogant, and blunt communicator. This conjunction can also lend a tendency to push one's thoughts, words, opinions, and understandings onto others. Mercury in Kṛttikā can be known to rub someone the wrong way with their expressions, as to offend them or make them uncomfortable in some way. On the Aries side of Kṛttikā and Mercury, these natives may become very angry, frustrated, or irritable when they are not agreed with or by their standards properly understood. On the Taurus side of Mercury conjunction, we find the native to potentially speak very slowly, and they may be very attached to technology, knowledge, and memories. There can be attachment to Mercury associations on the Taurus side. Now, Saturn can have a mixed and sometimes difficult karmic effect in Krittika Nakshatra. This is due to Saturn's challenging relationship with Surya. Saturn is also debilitated in the Rashi of Aries, and so Krittika does better on Taurus side of the zodiac. On the positive manifestation, Saturn in Krittika can create someone with profound determination, steadfastness, and courage. This conjunction allows someone who falls off the horse to be able to get back on and try again. That is Saturn in Kṛttikā. I fall back off the horse, I get back up and try again. On the Aries side of this position, it supports a strong-willed individual who will keep on trying till they obtain their goal, despite adversity. On Taurus side of Saturn in Kṛttikā, it is very positive for someone who experiences great prosperity and success by paying their dues, putting their time and energy into their efforts. They can show some servitude energy on the positive side of being in service. Now, Saturn in Kṛttikā is a very difficult position for Saturn and is considered a debilitation nakshatra. Those natives with Saturn in Kṛttikā must struggle with intense adversity, which must be overcome or it energetically could defeat them. These very difficult positions show certain key periods of the life will be make or break periods for the future of the native, usually Saturn Mahadasha, Saturn return, or Sati Sati. On the Aries side of Saturn in Kṛttika Nakshatra, they can often experience exhaustion and defeat from excessive adversity and can take a victimized role in life. On the Taurus side of this light of Saturn in Kṛttikā, there is a vulnerability to hoarding, obsessiveness, and holding on to one's possessions, attachments, and addictions. Now, we have discussed each planet, Rahu Ketu, as it acts within Kṛttika Nakshatra, the positive manifestation energy and the challenging manifestation energy. And may we all, through the spirit of Lord Shiva, emphasize our positive qualities in life and also work through our challenges, purify. Kṛttika Nakshatra is all about purification. So we had to look at the impurities today with Kṛttika as well, because that is what is seeking to be removed by Kṛttika. That is what is seeking to be removed, those impurities, the challenges which we face with our Kṛttika positions. Now, I want to do remedy, some community examples. Now we will take another short 5-minute break for everyone who is here, just taking a 5-minute break to get some hot water, some tea, whatever you would like, and we will resume here in 5 more minutes. And I hope everyone is enjoying this presentation very much. Om Namah Shivaya. Namaste and welcome back, everyone. I hope everyone is enjoying the presentation. It's very nice to be here with you all today. So, can everyone hear me clearly, see me clearly, also see the presentation clearly? Will someone please let me know through the chat? Thank you, Marina. Wonderful. Excellent. Appreciate that. Now, first we will be discussing, before we get into the remedy, someone asked, what is the ascendant position of Kṛttikā? I love ascendant position of Kṛttikā. It reminds me that you are the hero in the saga. We talk about the story of Lord Kartikeya, this aligning to the ascendant energy, this fulfillment of this great potential, the fulfillment of this great karmic manifestation to its highest potential, like Lord Kartikeya. But also those with Kṛttikā ascendant are tempted by the demon Taraka, usually maybe earlier in their life. So there is this relationship to aspiring to our greatest self, but the challenges, the impurities that we must purify ourselves from before we can become that. And that seems to be also very strong Kṛttikā karma way of understanding it as well. So now that we're getting back into ancient improvement of Kṛttikā karma, this is the remedy. Yes, it is beneficial to understand what our karma is, but what is the point of understanding our karma if we cannot do anything about it, if we can't do anything to improve it? So Sunday is the most beneficial day of the week to honor Kṛttikā. We honor Kṛttikā by honoring Sri Surya through wearing red, orange, and yellow colored clothing, as well as brightly colored clothing, such as Hawaiian-style shirts. And I believe tie-dye is also very good for Kṛttikā, this bright sun-colored clothing. Now, we honor Kṛttikā through traditional Surya mantra, including full sutra, and then repetition of the tantric or seed sound 108 times. In the beginning of this presentation, we did the Surya mantra, and you would be doing that as a regular part of your practice to improve our karma with Kṛttikā. Now, we also honor Kṛttikā through prayer in front of a well-designed Surya yantra in the east direction. So if you have a specific altar in the house for Kṛttikā, to improve your karma with Kṛttikā, put a Surya yantra there. Make sure it's in the eastern direction for the proper vastu. Now, we also honor Kṛttikā by wearing the gemstone ruby on the ring finger. Sometimes people have rubies and it's not actually for a recommendation for the sun, but maybe one of the sun's nakshatra. Generally, sun gemstone to be worn in copper gold setting, traditionally right hand for male and left hand for female, but my modern approach is dominant hand increases the overall energy, and then the non-dominant hand decreases the malefic energy. So if you're right-handed, then the right would be the dominant hand. We honor Kṛttikā through Lord Sri Agni, the supreme deva of fire, including rituals, puja honoring Sri Agni. This includes traditional fire rituals, such as the sacred homa. Fire ceremonies are the best thing that you can do to improve your karma with Kṛttikā is to perform daily homa. Connect with Lord Agni through the supreme force of fire. This is the greatest direct connection to Lord Agni. We honor Kṛttikā through honoring Lord Kartikeya, including rituals puja honoring Sri Murugan Skanda. We honor Kṛttikā through the act of purification, which is symbolic as well as literal. Purification represents the removal of the maya or the illusion, that which is false or ignorant. Therefore, we improve our planetary karma with Kṛttikā by the removal of ignorance and illusion from our life. Now, from an Ayurvedic perspective, Kṛttikā is related to the Ayurvedic dosha Pitta, and this contains the elements Agni and Drava, fire and water. Kṛttikā on Taurus side can also have some Kapha influence due to the Shukra Taurus influence, which is Kaphic. Now, Pitta contains the qualities or gunas, Ushna, Tikshna, Lagu, Drava, Snigdha. Hot, sharp, light, liquid, oily. These are qualities of Pitta. So these qualities can be excessive when there is difficult health-related karmas with Kṛttikā. There is a Pitta element to the disturbance with Kṛttikā karma, if it is a health difficulty. Now, therefore, when dealing with difficult karma specific to Kṛttikā, especially those related to health, it is important to balance the Pitta dosha and its essential gunas. If the native has strong earth element, though, due to Kṛtika on the Taurus Venus side, Kapha dosa also has to be pacified. Now, there can be other elements of the chart which are influencing Vata as well, but I just don't see that quite as often with Kṛtika. Sometimes you do when Venus is positioned in a unique way. Now, from an Ayurvedic perspective, gunas opposite to Pitta will help bring balance to the Pitta dosha. This includes Guru, Shita, Manda, Ruksha, Sthira, Stula, heavy, cold, slow, dry, stable, and gross. Therefore, challenging karma with Kṛtika can be improved with the daily lifestyle that incorporate the opposing qualities of Pitta, avoiding qualities similar to Pitta, which is generally qualities similar to Kapha, which are going to pacify. The sweet taste pacifies Pitta. This is a Kapha quality. Now, we talked about if there's Kapha influence, it has to be approached differently. Now, Ayurvedic herbs, which are very great to improve our karma with Kṛtika, I believe are Arjuna, Gaduchi, Shatavari, and Anantamula. These are my 4 go-tos for Kṛtika-related health challenges. Now, when it comes to the overall lifestyle improvement, we honor and improve our karma with Krittika Nakshatra through developing a strong but humble sense of identity. That's the duality. Surya is the sun, but the greatest king, the greatest leader, one of the greatest qualities they can have is humility. The great Lord KRTTIKΑ was prophesized, and so to improve our karma with Krittika Nakshatra, the native must humbly step into the destiny or prophecy of their life. That doesn't mean to improve our karma with Kṛtika, we go full force at it with this great ego. That's the demon Taraka. No, we must approach our destiny with great devotion, with great humility. We must bow before God. This great demon Taraka was the rival of Lord KRTTIKΑ and was Lord Skanda's dharma to destroy him. This parallel between the demon Taraka's overwhelming desire for power and KRTTIKA's humble service is at the root of how we improve our karma with Kṛtika. The question is, what aspect are we going to feed? Which beast are we going to feed? Kṛtika is Rakshasa. So we are to feed the selfish. So are we to feed the selfish, power-consumed, and destructive force known as Taraka? Do we feed our demon? Do we feed our ego? Do we feed our illusion? Do we feed our desire? Or are we going to fulfill the dharmic spiritual warrior energy of Lord Sri KRTTIKΑ? To improve our karma with Kṛtika, we must step up to the plate and fulfill our destiny, our dharma, in a humble, spiritual, and service-oriented way. Not with the ego, not with this haughty pride and arrogance, but with humility, spiritual service, and spiritual devotion. Lest we lend our energy to the demonic force of Taraka, which expresses itself with great power as well, but is noticeably swayed by ego, power hunger, and a destructive inclination. So again, we're talking about this choice between KRTTIKΑ or Taraka. To improve our karma with Kṛtika, we choose KRTTIKAa, to humbly step into our destiny and fulfill it. To humbly step into our dharma and fulfill it. Now, Lord Murugan developed 6 heads in response to his 6 virgin mothers. Each of these 6 heads is representative of the manifold expressions of kama, or desire fulfillment, that can be experienced in life. We honor and improve our karma with Kṛtika through putting action and energy to fulfilling the various aspects of kama which show up for the native. So this means that you have certain soul desires. We all have these aspects of kama in our chart. To improve our karma with Kṛtika, we must fulfill them in the most highest spiritual way, like Lord KRTTIKΑ. To improve our karma with Kṛtika, not only must we fulfill the desires and kama associated with Kṛtika position, but we must also fulfill all of the various activations of kama that manifest in other areas of the chart as well. If Kṛttikā is in good position in natal chart, the native should be able to fulfill the desires which are activated. So wherever you have karma in your chart, wherever you have desire in your chart, if you have Krittika Nakshatra karma, it is to help you fulfill those desires. You want to have wife, you want to have children, you want to become reputable in your career, whatever your desires are, if you have strong Krittika karma, the Kṛttikā will help you fulfill this if we align to this position properly. And so it goes, all of the desires, all of the karma can be activated through Kṛttikā. Often, when we satisfy a desire or fulfill an aspect of karma, there's a deep sense of fulfillment and contentedness. So when one of these 6 heads of skanda is filled, it gives us great peace. It gives us great contentedness. From the perspective of Kṛttikā, when one desire is fulfilled, such as marriage, for example, that is only giving one of the heads its fulfillment. So that is only satisfying the hunger of one of the heads, which might leave 5 other heads hungry and unfulfilled. We improve our karma with Kṛttikā by fulfilling all aspects of karma and the fulfillment of our soul's dreams and desires, which means when one of the greatest desires is fulfilled, which is feeding one head, then we must move on to the next. Just because we have fulfilled some desire, maybe we want to get married, we find our wife, and that gives us great satisfaction. But if you have strong Krittika Nakshatra karma, then there are 6 more heads, 6 more desires. So let's not get distracted by one head getting fed. Let's realize all the manifestations of karma in our chart. So this is how we feed all of the heads until all aspects of karma are complete. All of the manifold aspects of karma, not just one particular, being satisfiable. Now, Krittika Nakshatra is deeply connected to Lord Agni and the spiritual power of Dadana Shakti. This spiritual gift or power is essential to improve our karma with Krittika Nakshatra. Those with the most evolved Krittika Nakshatra energies, like my guru Amma, they manifest Dadana Shakti, this incredible power of purification. So Kṛttikā karma activates this karma of purification. And so to improve our karma with Kṛttikā, we must integrate the cutting and purifying energy of Lord Agni into our daily life and our spiritual evolution. On the internal microcosmic level, we improve our karma with Kṛttikā by purifying, removing, and cutting away our negative desires and inclinations. In this sense, we greatly improve our karmika with Kṛttikā by removing all of the false, egotistical, and illusory aspects of self. This also manifests within our physical body and health as we improve our karma with Kṛttikā by removing the impurities from our physical bodies, from the manas, from the mind. On the macrocosmic or the universal level, we improve our karma with Kṛttikā by purifying and removing all impurities and maya from society, humanity, and the greater world. In this sense, many Kṛttikā natives have a spiritual calling to remove ignorance, negativity, and illusion on this greater scale. If you have a Kṛttikā position, you have this, and it's in a Dharma position especially, there's this strong calling to remove the illusion. So we greatly improve our karma with Kṛttikā by helping bring this world and everything in it to Sat, or universal truth. So this is my guru, Amritananda Mahima Amaji, the Hugging Saint. And I just want to do a special prayer to her before we look at her chart. This is my guru, and I feel very humbled to do this look at her chart with you. So I'll do prayer to the Divine Mother and Amma in order to properly emphasize the significance of this. May we all honor the Divine Mother in our own way. Om Tvameva Mata Cha Pita Tvameva Tvameva Bandhu Cha Saka Tvameva Tvameva Vidya Dravanam Tvameva Tvameva Sarvam Amriteshwarema Tvameva Sarvam Amriteshwarema Tvameva Sarvam Amriteshwarye Namaha. Hari Om. Om Namah Shivaya. Blessings. So this is my guru, Mata Amritanandamayi. This is her chart, North Indian, South Indian, D1, natal chart. And over here we have the D60. So this is very important in understanding, especially when looking at higher, more spiritual energies. What are these divisional charts? D60, very high spiritual divisional chart, shows many powerful things. I believe deeply interconnected with our past lifetimes. Now, whenever we look upon the astrological chart of a Sadguru, a teacher, which may potentially have reached ultimate moksha or Mahasamadhi, it is something that must be done with great reverence and clear perception. So that is why I did chanting before we begin. It is my perception that in many ways the Sadguru transcends the influence of the Graha and the Nakshatra. The real question then is, what does it mean for an enlightened master to transcend their chart? The great Guru Sri Yogananda said, by communing with God, you will reinforce the power of the 12 spinal centers, which will then act in cooperation with the 12 signs of the zodiac. The deeper your communion with God, the more you will automatically harmonize the influence of all planetary forces and transcend the evil effects of the powerful but distant Graha. In these ways, you can spiritualize astrology. Although there is a certain vibratory influence of stars upon all human lives, a man of infinite willpower, tuned in with God, uses his free will to change his circumstances. He marches on, influenced only by the Son of all suns, the Almighty Spirit. To him, from the depths of his determination and faith, all things are possible. He burns the seed of difficulties in the fire of wisdom, consults only God for guidance, and performs all of actions according to divine guidance. In karma's realm, karma rules supreme, yet all human beings have the power to withdraw to another realm altogether. You cannot change the outer astrological influences, but you can do a great deal to change the way you receive them inwardly. Instead of accepting fatalistically the decrees of karma, follow the inner way of freedom. Meditate daily, commune deeply with God, learn from Him through the silent voice of intuition, the way out of soul-degrading serfdom to bad habits. Ultimately, by even deeper meditation, you will reach a point when you receive influences from God alone. Om Namah Shivaya. When looking at Mata Amritanandamayi planetary karma with Kṛttikā, we find the moon in the third pada of Krittika Nakshatra on Taurus, positioned in the 8th house. So again, looking at here for Kṛttikā, you're looking at the 8th house position, moon at 5 degrees Kṛttikā, and in D60, moon is still in Kṛttikā at 29 degrees on the Taurus side. Just showing that in the chart, here, so we can understand as we look into this case study. Now, let it also be noted that the moon in the D60 chart is in the same nakshatra on Aries side and same house. This is a very rare, potent, and powerful alignment. Whenever we discuss the chart of a Sadguru, such as Mata Amritanandamayi, we must be very careful to remind ourselves that the Sadguru has transcended all negative aspects of their chart karma. In this sense, we must approach the Jyotish from a different perspective, because the karmic effects of the chart manifest in a very unique way. A true Sadguru has already gone through the process known as Mahasamadhi, the ultimate moksha or realization. This means that the Sadguru, Mata Amritanandamayi, has completed her cycle of karma, learned every possible lesson, knows the ultimate truth, and no longer is automatically reincarnated. Therefore, the Sadguru we know as Mata Amritanandamayi has chosen to come back out of her own volition in order to support Earth, its creatures, and the spiritual evolution of humanity. Therefore, as we discuss Mata Amritanandamayi, let us point out all the multitude of ways she has transcended the difficult influences of her astrological chart. Moon in third pata of Krittika Nakshatra on Taurus side has a Mula Trikona position and is extremely powerful. This auspicious Krittika energy in the 8th house creates a very mystically oriented and open individual. It also supports the native to have a love, devotion, and appreciation for mystical religious rituals, traditions, and ceremonies of all kinds. We can even see this in Amma's personality, her appreciation of these ceremonies. However, in the chart of a normal native, the position of Moon in the 8th house could cause certain health/mental challenges. The Moon is very strong here, and 8th house has significations for chronic disease. Mata Amritanandamayi has transcended any challenging Kṛtika karma in the 8th house and brought it to the highest possible level of manifestation. Not only has Ammaji's health and immunity maintained great strength throughout her life, despite the incredible traveling that she does, but her devotees have mentioned she can purify and remove the sufferings, illness, and diseases of others. Mata Amritanandamayi Ammaji has transcended her Kṛtika karma in her personal manifestation of the Siddhi, the Dana Shakti. This manifestation of Lord Agni through Amma's spirit allows her the ability to remove the impurities of the world and humanity through her divine spirit. She may purify and remove any sickness, illness, or disease of both a physical and a spiritual nature. Ammaji can purify anything. Ammaji can heal anything. Any suffering we have, she may heal it. Any disease may have, she may take it away. She has this power to not only purify the world, purify all of us. She is one of the most pure spirits that exist. So the great Sadguru, which has transcended karma, has the power to help us all transcend and evolve through our own karmic journey as well, through their divine darshana and blessing. Om Amriteshwariye Namaha. Again, I'm Ksanati. I want to thank you for joining me today. For all of you who have decided to join us from different parts of the world, it is such a blessing to share this presentation on Krittika Nakshatra, its history, its karma, its positions, and how we, through our lifestyle remedy, to improve our remedy, to improve our karma with Krittika Nakshatra. So I hope you all have enjoyed our presentation today. If any of you have any questions, feel free to contact me. Stay in touch. This video will be posted on Ksanati Jyotish YouTube later today. May the power of Shiva always guide us. May the power of the Divine Mother always guide us. Om Namah Shivaya. Sahanau Bhavatu, Sahanau Bhunaktu, Saha Viryam Karavavahe, Tejasvina Vaditamastu, Ma Vidvashavahai. Om Shanti. Shanti, Shanti. Om Namah Shivaya.